Inequalities. Okay, so just to recap, okay, a couple things. So y has to be by itself in order for us to graph it. Okay, so it needs to say y equals mx plus b. The b is our y-intercept. Okay, that's what we graph first, and the m is the slope. Okay, and it can say the inequality rather than the equals. Okay, what kind of line is that? It's a dotted line. Okay, and so then obviously this is a solid line. Okay, so if we look at number one, does that y equals? Yeah, okay, y is by itself, so it's ready to be graphed. So it starts at 3, and our slope is what? -5/1. Okay, we cannot go up 5, so we're going to have to go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 1. Oh, I went over 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 1. Okay, on the first line, you need to plot as many points as you can. Okay, that way you can see where that connection marker is at. Should that be a solid line or a dotted line? Dotted line. Okay, and then it says y is what? Greater than. So we're going to shade the positive 5 side or the negative 5 side? The positive 5 side. Okay, so this is all, and remember, shade lightly when you do the first one, or use some lines or something. Okay, so this is going to be the shaded side. Okay, line 2 starts at what? -1. Our slope is what? -1/1. Okay, so we're going to go up 1/1, or you can go down 1/1. Okay, once you see that connection point, then you can go ahead and do your graph. Okay, should that be a solid or dotted line? Dotted line. Okay, so make your dotted line. Okay, on all of these, as we've seen, we had 4 sections yesterday. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 sections, and you should. Okay, the blue one says y is what? Less than. So are you going to shade above or below the blue line? Below. So all this is going to get shaded below the blue line. Okay, where is it shaded both colors? Yeah, okay, so if you had to put a number on these, you could say one section is just white. This section from here to here is just black. This one is black and blue, and this one is just blue. Okay, so the one that's shaded both should be shaded nice and dark. Okay, on your paper, shade that section nice and dark so I can tell. Or you can use an arrow and point that arrow. That is your solution. Okay, now, what that means in terms of stuff, okay, is McDonald's more or less than Chick-fil-A? What do you think? McDonald's is definitely less, okay? If I go get a Happy Meal at McDonald's and I get a Happy Meal at Chick-fil-A, okay, the one at McDonald's is definitely cheaper, okay? So you need a certain amount of money to go to McDonald's. Can you go to Chick-fil-A with only $1? No, you can't, okay? But can you eat at McDonald's for $1? Yeah, you definitely can. Okay, so if we're talking about in terms of money, that's what's happening with this graph, okay? You need to have at least $1 to go to Chick-fil-A, okay? But if I have $5, okay, we'll say 10. Okay, if I have $10, can I go to McDonald's? Yeah, can I go to Chick-fil-A? Yeah, I definitely can. Okay, so I could either eat at just McDonald's or at just Chick-fil-A, or maybe I have enough money for both. Okay, and that's what we're talking about with the graph. I have enough money for both with this section, okay? If I have $0, can I go to either restaurant? No, that's what this one is, okay? So we got no restaurant, we got just McDonald's, and we got McDonald's and Chick-fil-A, and then we have just Chick-fil-A, okay? And so we're looking for that section of where I have enough money for plenty of options, okay? Let's look at number 2. Is the y by itself? 3, sorry. Is the y by itself? Yeah, it says y equals. So the first one's going to start at 2. And what is our slope? Negative 2 over 1. So you're going to go up 2 over 1. Or you can go down 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1. Okay, on the first line, you need to apply as many points as you can. Should that be a solid or a dotted line? Should definitely be a dotted line. Okay, now what does it say? Y is what? Greater than. So we have two sections, right? So we fruit ninja this thing. We have two sections. One where y is 5 or negative 5. So are we going to shade the 5 or negative 5 side? We need y is greater. Yeah, we're going to shade the 5 side. Okay, for the blue line, where does it start? It starts at negative 3. My slope is also negative 2, so you're going to go up 2 over 1. Okay, or you can go down 2 over 1. Solid or dotted line? Dotted line. Okay, right now, what kind of graph does that look like? No solution, but you still need to shade. Okay, so it says y is what? Greater than. So you're going to shade everything on this side. Everything that's bigger than that. So we do still have a shaded section. Okay, so don't look at the lines and be like, oh, it's no solution. Okay, because you're still going to have that double shaded section. Okay, so everything from here is going to be your answer. This part should be shaded nice and dark. Okay, that's my solution area. Yeah, so your guys' paper should look something like this. Okay, you can definitely see, right? His one section is darker than the rest, right? I can look at his paper and know which part he's talking about for his answer. Okay, so if you're just doing lightly scribbles, I don't know what your answer is. Okay, this is how it should look in math. One section should be darker than the rest. Okay, look at 5. Is y by itself? No. Okay? Now, I don't want to discourage you, but these are the ones that you guys were sucking on before. Okay? So, we got 2x minus y is greater than negative 3. Okay, your first step is always going to be to add or subtract the x's. So, in this case, you need to do what? Subtract them. So we're going to say minus 2x minus 2x. So I got negative y is greater than, in this part you just write as a straight line. So you're just going to say negative 3 minus 2x. Okay, we didn't change anything. You just kind of rearranged it. Instead of writing it up and down, you're going to write it sideways. Okay, so your steps are always going to be to add or subtract the x's and then divide by the number next to the y. Okay, what is the number that's next to the y? Negative 1. Okay, so divide each piece by negative 1. So you're going to get y. What is negative 3 divided by negative 1? 3. Negative 2 divided by negative 1. Plus 2x. Okay, now the other last little thing that you guys are not used to, when you multiply or divide by a negative number and you have inequalities, you have to flip the sign. Okay, so instead of the mouth being faced this way, it needs to be faced this way. Okay. Now, if you forget to flip, it's not the end of the world. Okay, I mean, it's gonna mess up your graph for sure. But what's gonna happen is, instead of shading above, you're gonna shade below. Okay, you're gonna be shading in the wrong spot. And hopefully, by the time that you graph it, you can figure out when stuff's not matching up. Then you're like, oh shoot, I forgot to flip the sign. Okay, so the other equation says 2x minus 3y is greater than 3, or less than 3. Okay, add or subtract the x's. What are we going to do? Subtract them. So you're going to say minus 2x minus 2x. So you got negative 3y, and you just write 3 minus 2x. Okay, we're not changing anything. You just write it straight. Okay, what do we do with the number next to the y? Divide. We're going to divide each piece by negative 3. When we divide by a negative, what do you got to do to the sign? We got to flip it. So instead of it going this way, it's going to be going the other way. What is 3 divided by negative 3? Negative 1. Okay, this is the part that some of you guys mess up on, okay, because you don't know what to do with this whenever you type it in your calculator. What is 2 divided, or negative divided by a negative? Positive. Okay, if you type in 2 divided by 3 on your calculator, you're going to get 2 over 3. Okay, that is your answer. And you have to think, we're talking slope, so you would just rise 2 and run 3. Okay, so that back part, a lot of times you're going to get a fraction on it, and don't worry about it.